Debí, Tirar, Fotos, the sixth solo studio album by Puerto Rican rapper and singer Bad Bunny, is a deeply personal and reflective project that cements his legacy as one of the most innovative and emotionally resonant artists of his generation. Released on January the 5th, 2025, through Rimas Entertainment, it follows the groundbreaking Nadie sabe lo que va a pasar mañana, but takes a markedly different approach. With DTMF, Bad Bunny turns the lens inward, delivering a heartfelt exploration of memory, identity, and the passage of time. The album feels like a love letter to his homeland of Puerto Rico, celebrating its beauty, culture, and people, while grappling with the complexities of fame and personal growth. In this breakdown, we'll explore how Debí Tirar Más Fotos continues to redefine Bad Bunny's artistry and why it's poised to be remembered as one of his most impactful works to date. When Bad Bunny dropped Debí Tirar Más Fotos, I didn't know what to expect. His last album was bold and experimental, but this one feels completely different. It's intimate, reflective, and deeply rooted in memory. And I'm gonna be honest, before this album, my main exposure to Bad Bunny was through the headlines, his music, his personality, and yeah, his relationship with Kendall Jenner. But this project feels like we're seeing who he really is, and this album is a reflection of his love for Puerto Rico, his frustration with the changes it's facing, and his desire to preserve the memories and the culture that shaped him, which I think is really beautiful. It tackles colonization, gentrification, and globalization while exploring themes like identity and the fleeting nature of time. It's already making waves in Spanish-speaking communities, but I feel like it's flying under the radar for English-speaking folk. And today I want to unpack what makes Debí Tirar Más Fotos so impactful, so everyone can really enjoy it. So we're going to dive into the music, the imagery, and the powerful short film that comes with it, and why this project feels so deeply human.
What I can say is that I really feel proud about my people, about my country, about my culture, and about how they be resistant and people that did it before, people who inspire the new generation to keep fighting and keep cuidando, preservando lo que somos.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. Debí tirar más fotos, or in English, I should have taken more photos, is a slower, more introspective project compared to some of his previous works. This album feels like he's looking back on his life and on Puerto Rico itself. It's about memory, not just holding on to personal moments, but preserving the cultural identity in a world that's trying to change that too fast. What makes the project stand out is how deeply connected it is to Puerto Rico's ongoing struggles. Through the music, Bad Bunny addresses colonization, gentrification, and the forces reshaping his home. But at the same time, it celebrates the resilience of its culture, the beauty of its people, and the power of remembering where you come from. DTMF strips back the bombast of reggaeton to focus on the emotional weight of nostalgia and cultural preservation. It's an intimate project that feels timeless yet deeply tied to the artist's personal experience. To really understand this album, we have to talk about Bad Bunny as both an artist and an activist. He's more than a global superstar, he's become a voice for Puerto Rico, using his platform to amplify the island's struggles and the fight for its future. Back in 2019, when mass protests erupted in Puerto Rico over government corruption, Bad Bunny didn't just post about it. He was on the front lines. He marched alongside his people, demanding the resignation of Governor Ricardo Rosello. He even paused his music career, saying, "I can't focus on making music when my people are suffering," showing the world that Puerto Ricans are tired of being overlooked and exploited. But his activism didn't stop there. In his song El Apagón from his previous album, he declared that this is my land, this is my beach. And the track became an anthem of resistance, highlighting how gentrification and foreign investment were driving locals out of their own neighborhoods. He paired the song with a documentary that went even deeper, kind of similar to what he's done on his latest album, spotlighting the everyday Puerto Ricans being displaced and silenced. And that's what makes Bad Bunny stand out. He doesn't shy away from the hard truths, even when it might mean his international audience might be uncomfortable. He's unapologetically Puerto Rican. It's the work of someone who's seen the changes in his homeland and felt them deeply and personally. Through songs about memory, love, and loss, he's showing us what's at stake when we fail to protect the things that make a place and a culture unique. For Puerto Rico, this album feels more like a time capsule. It's a way of saying, look at what we've built, look at what we've lost, and look at what we can still save. So one of the most powerful things about Debí, Tirar, Fotos is how it's connecting with people on such a deep level. It's not just a song that you listen to, it's one that makes you stop and reflect. On TikTok, it sparked a trend where people are sharing their most emotional moments, old family photos, videos of loved ones, and memories that they wish they could relive. There's this one TikTok actually that I kind of want to show you.
Why did this song had me in my feelings? I've listened to the song like 5 times, and every time I listen to it, I'm like, damn. Life goes by fast, right? One day the people you love is no longer here, and all you have with them is their photo, memories.
So there's a lot of people, as you can see, who've really kind of taken this song and related to it, especially kind of migrant and immigrant communities. It's not just nostalgia for the past, but it's a reminder to hold on to what you have. The fact that this song is sparking so many of these moments online just shows how universal this experience is. Bad Bunny is talking about his own experience and his memories, but it's something that we can all relate to. When you think about the broader themes of the album, like the cultural loss happening in Puerto Rico, it adds another layer. Let's talk about the monoblock chair on the album cover. These chairs are staples in many immigrant and working class communities worldwide. Their ubiquity and affordability make them common fixtures at family gatherings, community events, and everyday life. The monoblock chair's design originated in the 1970s, aiming to create a durable, stackable, and cost-effective seating solution. Over time, it's transcended its humble beginnings to become this global icon symbolizing unity, resilience, and the shared experiences of communities facing displacement and change. Before we dive into the short film that accompanies Debí, Tirar, Fotos, let's talk about gentrification, because it's such a central theme to both the album and the film.
Oh my gosh, the tax advantages.
Why Puerto Rico is the best place for you to buy real estate in 2022.
Gentrification happens when wealthier people move into a traditionally working class or low income or kind of immigrant neighborhood, often under the guise of improving it. On the surface, it can look like progress, new businesses, renovated houses, but it comes at a cost. The original residents, who often built the community and its culture and have kind of lived there their whole lives, are displaced because they can no longer afford to live there. It's not just about money. Gentrification erases culture, the sounds, smells, traditions, and even the languages of a place start to disappear, replaced by something that feels polished but disconnected. And for Puerto Ricans, this isn't just a hypothetical situation, it's happening every day. The influx of foreign investors, the rise of tourism, and the exploitation of tax incentives have all pushed locals out of their neighborhoods, making their own island feel unrecognizable. Now, with that in mind, let's talk about the short film that goes with the album. It's a deeply emotional story about memory, identity, and the effects of gentrification on Puerto Rico. It's told through the eyes of an older man who's witnessing his home transform into something he barely recognizes. The film opens with Jacobo Morales, a legendary Puerto Rican filmmaker and poet. He's reminiscing about the beauty of Puerto Rico, its magic, and the life it used to hold. But there's this underlying sadness, like he's trying to hold on to something that's slipping away. Then we meet Concho, a talking frog dressed up, voiced by Kenneth Canales. At first glance, it might seem like a quirky addition. He's a small frog dressed in a suit, casually chatting with the protagonist, but he's a nod to the Coquí, sorry if I butchered that pronunciation, a small tree frog that's deeply tied to Puerto Rican culture. In the film, the man laments to the frog, as you get older, it's harder to remember. I wish I'd taken more photos. I wish I'd lived in the moment. I wish I'd cherished what we had. And it's such a simple sentiment, but it captures the heartbreaking loss of losing not just people and places, but the ability to fully hold on to those memories. As the man walks through his neighborhood, the film paints a stark picture of gentrification. The sounds of reggaeton have been replaced by rock music. He passes a white family barbecuing. They look at him like he's crazy, when I'm assuming he's lived there his whole life. Scenes that feel out of place in what was once a vibrant, distinctly Puerto Rican community. This shift isn't just visual, it's emotional. You can feel the disconnection, the sense that this place doesn't feel like it belongs to him anymore. When he gets to the bakery, it's been turned into a modern cafe. The warmth and the familiarity are gone, replaced with sterile decor and overpriced food, and it's filled with your typical kind of Western hipster types. He tries to order a simple sandwich, a pastrami and cheese, but the cashier doesn't even speak Spanish, so it's a bit of a struggle. The moment says so much about what gentrification does to a community. It's not just about the buildings or the prices, it's about how culture is erased piece by piece. The bakery isn't a local gathering place anymore. It's a business catering to outsiders, not the people who've lived there for generations. The cashier doesn't understand what he's talking about when he asks for a papa cheese, but of course the Puerto Rican man who's working in the back making the food understands immediately. When the cashier tells him that the sandwich costs $30 and they don't accept cash, it's almost insulting. There's no trust, no sense of community. Even the little things like being able to pay later if you're short on cash are gone, which are kind of staples in these small communities. Like, I remember we had that where I lived growing up because everyone knew each other. But there's a small moment of resistance when a local man steps in and offers to pay for his meal, telling him we're still here, which is a really nice moment. But then there's this big moment of joy. As the man goes home, he plates up his food and shares it with Concho. They sit outside and he hears reggaeton blasting from a car. It's like a spark of time in a neighborhood that's been muted. The man's super happy, says that he hasn't seen that in a while, and what we get out of it is a beautiful moment of resistance. Jacobo and Concho take this joyride, blasting music and reclaiming a little bit of the space that feels like is slipping away. This scene reminds us that even in the face of change, culture and identity are resilient, and it's a small act of rebellion, but it feels really powerful. At the end of the film, the frog suggests, maybe we should take a photo. And it's a simple line, but it just ties everything together. The film leaves you with this bittersweet message. Memory is fragile and places and traditions can disappear, but if we take the time to document and appreciate the things that we have and protect and preserve them, we can hold on to these things a little bit longer. So this film serves as a stunning companion piece to the album, and if you haven't watched it already, I really encourage you to. It's an extension of the album's themes. It shows us the human side of gentrification and reminds us what's at stake if we don't fight to protect the spaces and cultures that define us. So this short film and Debí, Tirar, Fotos focus on memory as a form of resistance. They ask us to think about what we're losing, whether it's the people in our lives, the traditions we grew up with, or the communities that shaped us. When you look at the album cover, two empty chairs under a plantain tree, it feels so familiar to anyone from the Caribbean and honestly to so many immigrant communities around the world. It's a scene filled with warmth and connection, but these empty chairs remind us of what's missing: the people who sat in them, the conversations, the laughter. And for Bad Bunny, this album is truly deeply personal. It reflects his love for Puerto Rico and his frustration with the changes it's facing. At the same time, it speaks to anyone who's watched their home transform, seen their culture sidelined, or felt the ache of time moving too quickly. But more than anything, this project feels like a call to action, to take the photo, to give the hug, to document and protect the places, traditions, and people that define us. Because if we don't, one day, all we'll have left to photograph are the empty chairs they leave behind. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I really wanted to do more videos about kind of music and add some commentary. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. So if you enjoyed this and want to see more of this kind of stuff and content, please let me know. Let me know what you thought about the album in the comment section. I love reading your comments and I really try to reply to every single one of them. So yeah.